We're live. That Backyard Property podcast is up and running. And thank you so much for being a part of this. It's pretty exciting to get out there. It's also quite nerve-wracking. So I'm pleased that we have got this off the ground. This podcast is really around helping people and inspiring them. And there's so many clients that we meet and people we meet that are obviously hearing from their property experts, that whether they're family members or friends, that are really trying to help them. But in the end, they're probably not guiding them in the right direction because everyone's situation and circumstances are so different. And so what we're trying to do as part of this podcast is to open the dialogue and probably debunk a lot of myths and also try and inspire people to realize that buying a property or buying multiple properties is actually achievable. And as long as you know how to go about doing it and the different levers you can pull, it's important that we all understand that because we don't get taught any of this at school. And there's so many people that we meet along the way that are feeling quite dejected about the property market. Depending on which city you're in, Sydney is obviously incredibly difficult to buy as a first home buyer, but you can still do it as long as you know what it is. And so when we meet people, especially for the first time, the majority of people really want to know, can I do it? Can I actually buy a property? And what does it look like? And the best part about sitting down with those people for the first time is that when you answer their questions, but also give them some inspiration that they can actually do it. And even today, I met with a first home buyer that the dialogue is very different, where they say, I've only got $40,000 or I've only got $50,000 in savings, which is actually such an incredible achievement just in itself to get that amount of savings. And in their mind, they were trying to achieve that 20% goal, when the reality for that particular scenario was she needed $120,000, which is really unattainable for most people. And the reality is she didn't actually need that much in savings. And so when we're looking at everyone's individual circumstances, it's important to note that one person's situation is very different to the other. And so when you're sitting with a mortgage broker, the ability for us to pull that apart and understand what you're trying to achieve, but also what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. This podcast really is around how do we inspire people? How do we educate people? But most of all, how do we empower people to be able to make that decision? Because the property market really does reward action takers and decision makers. And so once you do know what is actually achievable and how to get there, then all of a sudden you're halfway to that goal of either buying a property, buying another property, or buying an investment. And so we'll have different guests along the way, whether that be an accountant, whether that be a buyer's agent, whether that be a real estate agent or a settlement agent, just somebody involved in the property market and somebody involved in the process, because there's so many different elements to it. So each fortnight we will have an expert guest that we will talk to and ask questions. And I'd love other people in our community to ask those questions that we can ask the expert once we have them. The second part to it is releasing a bite-sized podcast or bite-sized episode that will come out every fortnight, which will be a Tuesday, which will go for 10 to 15 minutes just around a different element of the home buying journey and trying to explore and even simplify some jargon or some terms that are thrown around so much in the industry, whether that be negative gearing, leverage, guarantor, approval, whatever it might be. And so we're just going to try and simplify that so it's easily digestible. So thanks so much for listening to the first episode. I'm so excited to release the next ones because we've already interviewed a lot of those people, and the insights and information that they shared really was really insightful. And so keep an eye out. Every Tuesday we'll have another episode. Until next time, thanks for listening, and I can't wait to see you again soon.